Welcome to the manufacturer. In this video I'm going to clean, modify and repair an old guitar. So of course the first step is to disassemble it completely. I marked and sorted all the screws. I did the same thing with all the wiring to be able to reassemble it better. So here we have it, completely disassembled. For my plan I need the top and the back free from varnish, so I sanded it with a rotary sander. To get rid of the rotary marks I sanded it by hand afterwards. Also, I sanded the sides because I wanted to refinish them with new black varnish. You may have noticed that one of the edges is chipped. To build it up, I used a black epoxy putty called Milliput. After it hardened, I just sanded it back and the guitar was ready for the first layer of black lacquer on the sides. For that, I masked the top and the back with tape and newspaper. Although I taped the surface, there was a bit of lacquer soaked on the front and the back. Next big step was staining the front and back. The first layer was too light, so I used more stain to get a very hefty reddish color. Because this is a metal guitar, I figured the red wasn't dark enough. So I used a wax shoe polish to rub it in and darken the grain a bit more. Here you can really see the difference. Now begins the odyssey of lacquering the whole guitar. I put on a lot of coats and sanded in between them to get an even finish. The problem was that the finish I got wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, so I thinned the lacquer and used a sponge. That produced way better results, but not as good as I hoped for. Therefore, I polished the whole surface with micromesh and a cloth wheel. So the surface was shiny, but for some unknown reason the lacquer was really soft, so I finished it with spray lacquer off camera. Off to the neck. First I used a felt proxen wheel to get rid of all the smudges. Next I milled the fretboard marks out to renew them. I did my best to stay in the line, but had to break some pieces out because it was too narrow. The original plan was to use my usual epoxy dyed with red chalk, but it was way too translucent. After some experiments, I decided to color the notch black and fill it with another epoxy resin, also dyed with red chalk. I let it cure and used my little proxen mill and sandpaper to grind it back. But as it turns out, there were some bubbles in the epoxy, so I decided to grind in some random notches and fill them with the black epoxy. That also had to be ground back and polished up to 800. After that, the fretboard was finished with oil. The next step was very spontaneous. I sanded the varnish off the rest of the neck and stained it black. I finished it with the same spray-on lacquer I used for the body, so the neck is also finished. Second to last step is to clean all the little metal things. I used hammerite and some proxen wheels for the rust and smudge removal. Finally, everything gets put together. I actually did the soldering, the restringing, the tuning, and all the other setups of the guitar off camera. So, now, here is the finished guitar. Stay tuned for a full soundcheck in the next video. If you liked what you saw, feel free to like, share and subscribe.